Good evening and welcome back to my dwarven fortress of Esmulrakust, where last session we had at least two forgotten beasts, one of which we've just lost track of. Oh, Simon has pointed out my mouse pointer's too small. Yes, one moment. You can't see it, or rather you possibly can, but it's a tiny thing flitting across the screen. Let's try that. That's better. Yes, where we've been visited by forgotten beasts, which seem to have a surprising amount of squirming and fidgeting to do. And the first one, I think, just disappeared down deeper into the caverns. We have been exploring deeper into the caverns than previously, in search of valuable gems, if nothing else. Oh, and probably magma, usually magma. So you can see that we're now almost down to sea level, and have just exposed a towering noseless walrus. Gembish Gilrained, the crevice of queens. Okay. So what items have been particularly failing? Oh, we're running out of billen, are we? Under what circumstances do we make billen, I wonder? Or was there another job complaint there that was can't make billen, we haven't got any tetrahedrite. Here's some tetrahedrite. And some garnierite, whose purpose I can't currently remember. Happily, we have a button for that. Well, kind of. Garnierite is an ore of nickel. How useful. I mean, more useful than cobaltite, admittedly, but... I just noticed my leg was sore and wondered if something had bitten it, but I don't think it has. Anyway, right, so we are going to want to pay some attention to what that forgotten beast does. I think we don't know of any others at the moment. Oh no, okay, we have 3 forgotten beasts currently we know of the existence of. What? We have Strabo, who is a great hairy sauropod, which also squirms and fidgets and has poisonous vapours. And we have... No, that was Gembish, which we knew about already, sorry. Lysesi Pulpy Sweat, the Sucker of Merc, which is injured. Its cephalothorax bears a very small dent. Yes, which is a towering 3-eyed spider with 2 long spiral horns. So yes, this might be an interesting time. Maybe I should summon the dwarves back inside. So what were there? We had webs. We had a poisonous bite and poisonous vapours, something like that. Poisonous bite. So a poisonous bite isn't very dangerous if we can keep it on the right side of a wall, of a fortification. webs. Sorry, I am a bit slow moving today and slow thinking. Poisonous vapours worry me, but they may not be very poisonous. Right, so what I think we should do is enable the main burrow so as to encourage people to extract themselves from the dungeons. Yes, like you, peasant carrying some rough pyrites. And you, thirsty miner, metalsmith carrying rough rose quartzes, etc. So we now get a bunch of item inaccessible messages, which is probably good. That implies that people are not taking up new tasks out here. And then some migrants have arrived despite the danger. Then I think sorry, brains. Then we close the inner drawbridge, actually we should staff the bolt throwers down there right now. Crew, I suppose, is probably a better word. Good enough. Let's see what happens. Oh yes, let's actually inspect our new arrivals. We have a rather dull peasant, 48 years old, no relations, no skills, competent pacifier is as good as they get. Oh, adequate dancer. Can't remember if that's better than competent or not. And a potter. Well, you can probably make bricks for us. How do we have pottery organised at the moment? Do we have a potter's thing? Doesn't look like it, no. I think you might take on that task if you feel like it. So we're now up to a population of, oh no, up to a population of 100. So novice cheesemaker has turned up. How helpful. What? There's a somewhat ludicrous halberd. It's not actually any good, but it is named and is decorated with works relating to the ascension of the goblin Smuntsu, plunge curses, the dreadful help of shielding, the position of Lady of the Rough Seductions in the early autumn of 15. Simon suggests that, yes, staffing the bolt throwers suggests equipping them with receptionists, managers and HR boards rather than siege operators. And also had not really previously realised that dancing was a thing in Dwarf Fortress. I mean, I think the Rough Seductions is like a civilization or something, and Lady is the title, but thus, to an extent, Lady of the Rough Seductions is a job title. Right, so dwarves are still heading inwards. Yes, there are some more dwarves heading inwards. We won't try to lock the we won't try to actually shut the Forgotten Beasts out until, at the very least, we have all known dwarves inside the fortress. Right, and we do have dwarves crewing both of the lower bolt throwers. 2 more incoming dwarves. We have been doing a lot of exploring down there. How many of the Forgotten Beasts are still available? All 3, right. Yes, this is like the kind of underpass that the dwarves go through to get to the entrance eventually. Right, so that might be all of the... where are you going? What are you trying to achieve? How about you don't? Why are there dwarves leaving? This is not good. Best done through tasks, isn't it? Stop trying to fetch stone. Any attempt at fetching stone is probably a bad idea. Okay, you were probably going somewhere sensible, but still. I only vaguely know. We currently have 3 Forgotten Beasts roaming the caverns. We would quite like fewer Forgotten Beasts roaming the caverns so we can go down there and look for gems and possibly magma. Right, let's just hope. I'll have a quick wander around, but I think we are probably... Where is the downward passageway anyway? It's there. Right. We are probably in a position where a reasonable proportion of dwarves are no longer in the depths of the caverns. And like wandering around just seeing if I spot a surprise dwarf who shouldn't be here. Oh yes, we do of course have some magma, it's just in small buckets. It's slightly inconveniently located. I don't think there's anyone still down there. So I'm now closing the inner drawbridge while watching it closely to check that no one goes through. Right, let's now investigate where those Forgotten Beasts have got to. Are they slowly heading towards the fortress. For one thing, we apparently have a stray reindeer bull. We generally, once grazing animals in particular are adequately grown up, we slaughter them for food, because we don't actually want to be running a stock farm. So the walrus is moving possibly towards us. Strabo appears to be entirely stationary, having excuse me, which one are you? You're the sauropod. We have a great hairy sauropod which is sitting on the very top, I think, of a tower cap, which is a tall underground mushroom. I think it might be stuck there, or possibly it's waiting for autumn, I'm not sure. So it's possible that this forgotten beast is not a great danger because it's stuck up a tree.
It's got something in common with dwarves then.
Unlike dwarves, I don't think it has to eat, so it will probably be able to just stay there.
Yeah,
Still, that's the really dangerous forgotten beast. But
essentially dwarvish activity.
so is the spider, but it may be able to get down. But the walrus is the one that's actually heading somewhere, possibly towards our fortress. Certainly looks like it's heading towards our fortress. It's even capable of using our staircases. Yes, it walks quite slowly, being as it is a walrus. Oh, we can probably release the pause the burrow again now. So my hope is that this one, which like doesn't have poisonous vapours, it just has webs, will probably fall fairly easily to a bolt thrower. Right, stray reindeer bull has been slaughtered. Let's just go and ensure that any bits of it that might rot will be disposed of. Oh yeah, someone knocked down our butcher's shop, so now there's bones everywhere. So I'm watching this towering walrus shuffling slowly towards our fortress. I think it should prove quite susceptible to bolt throwers. Assuming the bolt thrower crew are still there. We might lose the dogs that we keep there as early warning and bait. Turn, stop it. That took quite a lot of crossbow bolts, but yes, yes, definitely took quite a lot of crossbow bolts to kill that forgotten beast, but it's dead, and like with no serious danger to anyone really. Consumed about 120 something crossbow bolts. Right, that's nice. There are still 2 forgotten beasts out there, but I think they may both be harmless. In that Strabo is still stuck on the top of that tree. And Lisesi is stuck at the top of that tree. So, if they can't get down... Simon asks, how did these beasts get stuck up trees? Did they sit on a seed and accidentally not move when it sprouted under them? I don't know. I mean, I think in terms of game mechanics, the game didn't actually pay attention to whether the place it was... I mean, in terms of like how it actually works, I suspect the game just didn't pay attention to whether the location the forgotten beast was spawning in was accessible. But I don't know in world what happened. Why do we have 2 siege operators called Tun? That's just confusing. Right, so I think that means we can probably let everyone back into the dungeons, the caverns again. And I suppose thus releasing them from the siege engines. So now that I've set them to load, do they get, since there is no firing to do they get automatically and reasonably rapidly topped up? If they do, not by those siege operators. Yes, right, someone else will come and top them up in a moment. Excellent. Right. We generally don't bother butchering Forgotten Beast corpses because Forgotten Beast meat, while you get a lot of meat off them, we don't actually have a shortage of meat, and no one much likes eating Forgotten Beast meat. Like, it's quite low quality meat. So I think we will just tag that for dumping, and it's going to take someone some pretty serious effort to get it up to the rubbish dump. Presumably someone will now come down here and clean the blood off the walls as well. So yes, the bolt throwers down here are being reloaded, ready for the next thing. And here's someone cleaning. Because obviously we want the entrance to the fortress not to be covered in forgotten beast blood. There we are. For some reason they haven't bothered cleaning off the dog blood, mind, but... Why is the buttery brunch? Oh yes, they are on constant training, and presumably they do at the very least. Why don't they have our repeatedly tantruming tun in them, eh? Tun colour locum. I mean, either of the tuns are quite unhappy. So if we don't have anything else to do with them, we should stick them back in the buttery brunch. I don't know how I managed to get two equally unhappy siege operators with the same name. I mean, it's not completely the same name, but yes, it is a bit confusing. So I think my current assumption is that the remaining forgotten beasts are both harmless because they're stuck up trees. And so we should send some dwarves to more thoroughly explore distant parts of the caverns. So this is one of the edges of what we've managed to find, and we think dwarves can get there. So let's ask the divine stones to get there. See, there is in fact some dancing going on. Don't know who's dancing. Is it one of our new friends? Someone wants us to get some musical instruments, it looks like. So I think we should acquire ourselves a Zalud, an Unol, and a couple of Artzes. Who's actually dancing? Why are you leading a cheese making demonstration? Oh, here's someone. It's not our new arrival who's performing the dance. It's someone else. Where are you performing this dance? Here is a description of the dance. I'm not sure that this. I mean, it tells me what kind of instruments I need in order to perform it, I suppose. The scroll bar doesn't seem to be working. How inconvenient. I will not comment on the debauched body level changes. So I hope that the divine stones are heading down here to do some exploration. Looks like it, yes. Possibly we should also organise things so that it's faster to get around the caverns. Oh, we're below sea level there. Don't worry, I don't think the sea's going to get into this fortress. It is quite clogged with underground trees, though. Right, we have struck Galena. So yes, I think there was only a very tiny bit of that corner still waiting to be officially discovered. So that all looks good now. Now we want to find another bit where we have an edge of what we found. So if we can get over here, that would be good. Looks like we can. I think there may have been a bit of dwarves getting in one another's way there. Happily, they can plan routes through the cavern, even if I can't work out what's going on down there. Autoclays and malachite. And rutile. Oh, and some unusual volcanic walls have just become very visible. Well, let us dig down into the central hole in the traditional fashion. We'll allow the divine stones to rest a bit here while we wait for the miner to turn up. I mean, I suppose if you're going to be mining around here anyway, you can at least mine out the perfectly ordinary gems that are in the area. Of course, that's now summoned multiple more miners down here. Oh well. So we've now found the edge there, but there's clearly something interesting going on not very far to the west. Maybe we can briefly send the divine stones over there. Not sure if they can actually, yeah, they can get in there just about. Or maybe they can't. Oh, there they go. Right, is that deep enough? Still don't seem to be seeing anything over here, which is weird. Aha! Right. That's suddenly exposed a bit more space. Can we then get down here, I wonder? Looks like it. You can get through to there, and you'll probably be stuck. This area does look rather impenetrable now. I mean, we are quite close to the edge of the map, but I would like to actually see the edge of the map. Well, let's try going to the point that I think we can reach. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Where are those miners anyway, eh? Let's bring the divine stones back up here for now. Or at least 3 of the divine stones. I'm not quite sure where the rest have got to. I think those messages must mostly have been from the... oh, there's another one. From when we had the... I've forgotten the word. Thing active. Burrow. Like, there are allegedly people coming here to mine. I'd get distracted by the gems, but whatever. What will we find in this unusual volcanic wasp name? Nothing. A rock. How helpful. Well, that means we can dig out all the valuable gems from it, at least, without fear of embarrassment. So, is there anywhere else we want to explore? Yes. That, I think, is the left edge of the map. But up here there seems to still be some places we haven't seen. So let's see if we could... That is allegedly reachable. So let's see if that finds us anything more. Found a bug bat. Meditate on dusk. Meditate on the sky. Yeah, I think that question mark may mean we don't understand how the hell to get there. Maybe we need to send some miners down to clear some more routes. We have got most of the second layer of caverns visible now, and we haven't yet managed to locate a route downwards like we managed to find higher up. Actually, a section there we haven't got. That's apparently not reachable either. Let's allow them to go home for now. Presumably someone will come to deal with these. We do have a bit of a shortage of miners, actually, only having 3. Maybe I should see if I can find more. Like, no one else in the fortress apparently knows how to mine, so we're going to need to get some novices in. Probably want someone who doesn't know how to do anything very useful. Well, we have a peasant. Here, try mining. Seems like a good thing to learn how to do. So, what else is going on? Things are quite slow at the moment, I will admit. So is this one of our normal miners? No, it's our new miner, who has just been given their first pick and told, go and mine a thing down in the caverns. Have you got a pick? Yes, you have brought an iron pick. It menaces with spikes of pink tourmaline. For some reason, the merchants appear to be leaving through the caverns. Well, your first bit of mining is to go and get us some very precious gems. staircases are full of people pushing wheelbarrows. Presumably because there's rock down here that they would like to get. Could do a bit more gem mining while we're down here, couldn't we? But you've walked past several interesting deposits. Some of them quite accessible, unlike the one you're currently heading for, which is a long way away. Still, you're not bad at mining even now. Oh goodness, it's a Fire Force of Darkness. There's a bit of me that says, oh, I should just stop and go to bed, but no, it's not midnight yet. Let's see if we can deal with this. So, I think that's our new bolt thrower, which hasn't been tested yet. Yes. Which is why it's called bolt thrower. So let's see who, if anyone, is on the surface right now and about to get into trouble. It's like we do have some kinds of bolt holes available now for cases where dwarves are stuck on the surface, but not currently seeing any dwarves who are stuck on the surface, which would certainly be nice. There's one of our bolt holes, if we happen to find a dwarf somewhere near it. I don't think we have any dwarves on the surface, so I don't think we need to do anything very special. We should, oops, no, that was the wrong button. We should release the one animal from that pasture. While we have a bunch of war dogs, I don't think we actually have any of them assigned to the pasture at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. I haven't yet put the siege operators back into their old state anyway. So now I think we mostly want to pull some levers. What are you doing? Why can't I remove people from store item in barrel jobs? That's unhelpful. So we have elite mounted goblin axemen, monstrous siege engineers, and another war cave dragon. Come back. You're hauling a leopard tripe roast somewhere, and while I can take people off store item in stockpile jobs, oh, I can probably just forbid the item you're carrying, can't I? That would solve the problem. Please, leave the leopard tripe roast behind. It is not important. I mean, you've left it on the drawbridge, so it will now get to be hurled in the face of some unfortunate goblin. Try not to be standing on that bridge when it retracts. It'll be too a bit. Oh, you poor thing. Well, you were mostly protected by your armour, at least. Right, who spotted that ambush? Hope it was the goat. Doesn't look like anyone is actually operating a siege engine yet. No, it was a goblin ambush, not an elven ambush. I think. Unless the message actually said it was an elven ambush, but I don't think it did. Right. I'm a bit concerned by the way that we don't actually appear to have any siege engineers any siege operators in the right place yet. Oh, I forgot to enable the third bolt thrower. That was one of the things I got wrong. There we go. It's possible we are going to end up depending on the weapon traps more than I would like. Possibly I should close the front gate until... If it says curse all friends of nature, that would be an elven ambush. But it doesn't. All right, no, the bolt throwers will be active very shortly. I don't think I need to worry. You're not actually fighting, are you? You're just recovering from having fallen into the barbican. There seems to be not very many... Oh, there's one. I was going to say not very many goblins foolish enough as to get close to the entrance, but someone has knocked one of the hooves off our billy goat. Did any of those crossbow bolts do anything useful? No, as far as I can tell, everyone is busy fighting a goat. Which has had its head crushed by a silver maul. That, on the other hand, looked like a fairly effective killing of a beak dog and possibly other things as well. Slightly sad at this novice gelder who will never get any better at it. Oh, you brought a cave dragon, did you? Well, the thing about cave dragons is that we can still stick them full of crossbow bolts. At least until we have to reload the bolt throwers, which of course ran out at the same moment. So now a bunch of goblins think they can get into the fortress. This might be a bit exciting. It's going to need quite a lot of work from the remaining bolt thrower and the weapon traps to deal with this lot. Happily, well, that was all right until we ran out of crossbow bolts. But now we've got some crossbow bolts upstairs again. I think I'm going to consider the possibilities of closing the outer drawbridge briefly. I mean, we may not be able to accomplish it in time, but actually, while we're there, the main gate one-way door as well. Just to give us a bit of an opportunity to kill everyone adequately. Okay, you've got plenty of crossbow bolts in there. You're just politely not shooting at anyone while they're unconscious, I think. Ideally, you would use the time while people are unconscious to reload, of course. That appears to be an airborne goblin corpse. That appears to be an airborne live goblin. Well, that was a nasty landing, wasn't it? You should have worn better shoes. Still not properly landed. Right, now you've properly hit the ground. Haven't apparently got significantly injured otherwise. Now we're reloading very slowly. But like the fortress is buttoned up quite tight at the moment. So we can just sit here killing goblins who are conveniently wandering across the front of the fortress. Unless, of course, we're busy reloading. Right, while the goblins don't seem to much mind about our bolt throwers and are still milling around out the front, I see no immediate reason to open the gates. Obviously, if they get bored and want... Oh, they brought some Marks goblins. Are you an elite? No, a non-elite bowman is not going to do much good here. You, on the other hand, might stand a chance of shooting our siege operators through the windows. Right, so have we killed everyone in the Barbican? I think we have. So I mean, I would do some more, but would open the gates and let them in, but they're doing such a good job of hurling themselves at our vault throwers anyway. Like, they seem to have got their siege engineers here, but most of them seem to be unable to get quite close enough to the... or at least they've got some trolls and some ogres. Unable to get close enough to do much. Oh! Now there's some engineering going on. Shoddy phyllite block downward stairway. And now an upward stairway, but if someone foolishly comes down those stairs, they are... Oh, oh. That's a problem. I think this troll engineer has just dug through that wall, or someone has dug through that wall, because there's now a gap where there was a fortification. Right. Do we have a plan for this situation? P.S. Why is this corridor full of dogs? Right, so I think our situation is that we have a bit of a hole in the fortress here. I think we hope that this bolt thrower can do its job moderately well and like reduce the rate at which goblins can get in there. Do we send... We've only got 3 cage traps. They're not going to save us very much, are they? I think we need to get a bunch of halfway competent dwarves. Can't remember who is actually halfway competent. Truthful Wheels might be, though. Should probably be taken off constant training. Let's get them into that corridor. Let's allow that dwarf to leave their station. I mean, an alternative is like we wall off that corridor. No, I don't think I want to do that, at least not yet. But yes, there's a troll miner who was our problem. They've turned up carrying an iron pick and have dug through the wall. Now, if they tried to come in the other side, those are all reinforced. But this side is older and has not been reinforced. Right, so here is an arriving goblin who immediately runs away. Okay, here we have a problem. We really, really don't want those military dwarves to leave the fortress. I think I just cancel their current job if they look like they're going to get too far outside. Right, we haven't yet started any actual fighting there, I think because the goblins might be trying to tempt us out. So obviously we don't want to get into a battle on the surface. Because that would be bad. I think currently we have this problem that we are like very close to emerging onto the surface. I think we have two reasonably coherent fights going on there. Presume you're currently reloading, are you? Yes. So we're mostly still taking apart a goblin hammerman who is... okay, no, that's dead. I think given that everyone... I think I'm going to actually tell my 3 active squads not to do any more militarying for a moment. Unfortunately, one of them is on... Is it you being on constant? Let's drop them all onto no orders as well, which I think should actually make them all civilian. All being well, they will then go, ah, and run away. Because if we're going to defend the fortress, we would quite like to do it from inside and not outside. But that means we have to ensure that the dwarves don't go out for the front of the fortress, and instead we tempt the goblins in to do things on our terms. Indeed, yes, we should, because I've just remembered where this corridor goes. It goes straight into the middle of the training area, into a perfect arena for goblin slaughter. Possibly, given this lovely long corridor, we should actually have a bolt thrower at the end of it. There's also a war lion just hanging around at the end of this corridor. I must withdraw. Yes, yes, please withdraw. Now, bolt collimation was what we did in Nose Tools. I think it was Nose Tools. One of the earlier fortresses where we used... we had a system that would carefully ensure that only that bolts that were not going perfectly straight would get neatly dropped down a 2Z level hole so that they wouldn't be damaged. Right, so the dwarves are sensibly withdrawing, most of them. In fact, let's adjust the burrow settings so that that corridor and that area are temporarily considered outside, so as to discourage knocked over our bolt thrower. so as to discourage the dwarves from trying to do jobs out there. Right, so now I think we should take those squads and tell them to station in the... I'm now slightly worried because, of course, the goblins might keep going down. Well, let's see what happens. How are we doing at recharging that? 70% full. We should obviously have a bunch of floor hatches here that we can lock. Might not be wholly wise. What are you doing? You do have a bill and crossbow of extreme awesomeness and some halfway decent armour. And some crossbow bolts, but I'm not sure you know how to use them in a crossbow. I'm not sure if this is going to go well. Can we take you off siege operating duty? Will that cause you to become scared of goblins? Doesn't look like it, no. Right, well... So like a stockpile around here somewhere. Yes. Let's just set that to not want to take random bolts in the hope of similarly distracting. Oh, but you're actually going to pick up equipment, are you? You're on the same square as a goblin. What are you doing there? Right, that's probably not a good situation. Presumably mostly, yes, that's nothing exciting. Wish that were consistent. Well, it is consistent. So our militia captain appears to be, like, attacking not at all, but practicing their blocking. I feel that that's not going to end well, and we're going to need to, yeah, I think we need to send at least a squad up here to save this foolish militia captain. Or maybe we don't need to bother. Okay, we don't need to bother. Right, so there is an elite crossbowman who I think is shooting at our siege engineer. Some of the dwarves are heading back into the corridor. One of the dwarves has managed to get outside the fortress while I wasn't looking. And like is doing an awesome job of taking apart trolls, but is I think about to get shot. Like you've just got yourself into trouble there. So yes, the dwarf who is on the surface is probably for it. Not too sure about these two. They've probably got a bit of work ahead of them. Right, there are definitely crossbow bolts flying again. That's good. Hint, by scrambling away, you've put yourself on the wrong side of that goblin. See, that's going to be a bit of a problem for you. Why on earth are you outside the fortress anyway? You've killed someone by crushing their lower body with the pommel of your battle axe. That is quite hardcore, really. Right, it is now midnight though, and this is an entertaining place to leave this siege. given that we're not winning it quite as comprehensively as we might have in the past, because they've like actually started digging and things. So we're going to have some better plans for the future, and meanwhile somehow win this siege itself. So, well, that is probably a job for Sunday, maybe, when it hopefully won't be quite so warm. So I'm going to save now and say until Sunday, good night.